Well, good afternoon, good evening, or whatever you want to call it, to yet another Technolive. Welcome back, everyone. I hope you're doing well. I hope you've had a lovely week. I know for a fact I've had a tiring week, mostly due to the fact that, my beverage for this stream is coffee and not tea. It's been one of those weeks. But, oh well. Yeah, anyway, I hope you're having a lovely time, enjoying the weirdly sunny weather for January, but that's another thing altogether. Let's just jump straight into it today, with hang on, after a sip of coffee, of course. Yeah, so I thought today we'd have a little look at another type of game development, and we've covered this quite often on Technolive. We've used MakeCode Arcade, we've used Scratch, we've used Unity. We're going to look at a different technology today. We're going to look at GameMaker. And GameMaker is interesting. It's very expensive, unfortunately, but for some people, it's kind of where they started out with game design. Things like Undertale, made in GameMaker. Kingsway, which we've actually played on stream, also made in GameMaker. And yeah, it's going to be slightly different today, though. Usually I do kind of more follow-along things, step by step. GameMaker is quite complex, and there's a big sort of step up to get used to GameMaker. So this isn't really going to be an introduction. This is just going to be me playing around, building a game. I might not do very well. I might do well. If I get stuck, I might have to look things up. We'll see where we get to. Just want to have a chill time, design some games. But yeah, if you do want to get into GameMaker and you want to get used to things a bit more, I do have some videos over on the very YouTube channel you're watching now. We've got a series of videos all about GameMaker, all about different things. Good place to check is there. This is going to be much more of a chill one. Just me enjoying making some games. So yeah, anyway, without any further ado, welcome to GameMaker. So I'm going to start by making a sprite, because what's a game without, something to look at? And what's this? Oh, well, this is going to be my player character. And just a little bit of an intro. I'm going to edit image here. I've been using GameMaker for a good old long time. I started back with GameMaker version 8. And now we're looking at, well, it's no longer GameMaker version 8, it's GameMaker Studio 2, so they stopped counting properly at some point. What are we going to do today? I think I'm going to do a Teapot as my character, because I always end up doing teapots for some reason. I just think because they're nice to draw. Just that they're really neat. It's a bit of a good old round teapot. Let's give it some legs, why not? And again, as people who've seen this stream before probably know, I could spend ages drawing art, particularly pixel art. I'm not going to do today. Yeah, why not? I'm not going for anything too neat. In fact, I'm not going to even mirror things. I'm just going to get something down on paper. Because sometimes, when you're drawing art, that's the best way of just doing it. You just do it and then fix it later if it's terrible. Let's go for a nice sort of cream-coloured teapot. Yeah, porcelain. And I might add a little bit of shading. Let's go, not too, there we are. Let's have the sun coming in from the top right, so the shading should be going along here. Yeah, today I'm just gonna make some stuff as I feel like it, and then if, see how far we get, basically. Might get far, we might not get far. I'm not so keen on how I've done the shading on the leg here, but, well. I never claimed to be a good artist. Okay, it's a teapot, so let's do a spout. And we'll go for the grey again. It's going to look ugly to start off with, but it's just because I've not done the colouring. Let's do that with a curve. And then that curve. Oh, the curve tool is horrible in GameMaker. Alright, so you click once where you want to start, click where you want to end, then you do the arrangements. But how do you select that bit? I can delete the point. Don't want to do that. No, you're going to behave with me, GameMaker? It's not going to behave with me today. Commit tool, yeah, fine. Commit tool changes. Oh, we'll just do a boring old straight spout. Yeah, ugly work, but oh well. Who's going to complain? I mean, I can. But it's my game. If I want it to be ugly, I'm going to have it be ugly. And go for the fill color. That's looking a bit better. And that needs to be raised. So yeah, as I was saying, I started GameMaker back when I was in school, which feels years ago now. And there was actually there used to be a GCSE for game design, but I think that's ended now, or at least it's probably changed things. Someone's saying in chat there's too much detail for a prototype. You're probably right. I told you, I get obsessed with drawing these. I could spend ages drawing pixel art, but I always get a little bit too distracted. And that needs a little bit of shading. Do I have the right colour? No, let's go for that one. And then just a little bit around there. And a little bit at the bottom of the spout. You'd have thought I know how to draw a teapot by now, but apparently not. I've done so many teapots in my time. Anyway, that'll do. Otherwise, I'll obsess with this for the rest of my life. But yeah, we got a lovely little teapot there. Our teapot's not going to be able to do anything in the actual game. So, I need to create the part of that which is one of the objects. So I'm going to create an object. Oh, I should have mentioned at the start, if you want to catch up at any time, see what I'm doing. The reason I use YouTube as a live streaming platform is because you can pause the stream and watch it later, whereas Twitch, when you pause, you don't get to see what comes afterwards. But no, in YouTube, you pause and then it saves kind of like a copy of the video for you. It's interesting. Well, this is going to be my player character. OBJ for object. I'm going to make it where I daft little teapot sprite. That's terrible. I'll go back and fix that, but another time. So chat says, yeah, pixel art is kind of calming. I fully agree. When I was making pixel art for when I taught teachers how to do GameMaker. Literally, I just put on some music. I think it was the Minecraft soundtrack or something, and I just went and made some pixel art for about 4 hours. It was lovely. Absolute bliss. Yeah, before we get on to any programming, let's just check GameMaker's actually working today. Because it might not. You never know. So we're going to go into the room here. And the room is just the stage where you put all the items, all the bits of the game. And we got 2 layers. We've got the instances layer for where objects go, and we got the background layer for where backgrounds go. And I could color the background down in this background properties box. I could make it kind of weird pink. Not keen on that. I don't know. Bluish, purplish. Why not? It's all prototypes. Can always come back and change it. But the cool thing about that... Sorry, I need to set the alpha properly, because otherwise things will be going see-through when they shouldn't be. It's all a prototype. But if I really wanted to, I could set a sprite for the background. And there we are. I got a background. I got a background of teapots now. But I'm not going to do that. Let's go for no sprite, and let's just go for that. Kind of, yeah, why not? And let's get our player character object. Oh, I nearly put my player character object in the background layer. That would have been a disaster. I'm going to make sure I'm back on my instances layer. And let's pop the player character in. There we are. Ooh. There's my little teapot. So yeah, let's give the game a run. This is where it's going to be annoying because I've got more than one monitor for running live streams. It's going to turn up on the wrong monitor. I'm just waiting for it to do so. Where's my game? There it is, right in the annoying place. There we are, I got a little teapot on a screen. That's all you need for life, really. Chat saying pixel art is easy. Yeah, well, it depends. Some people just have natural artistic talent. I mean, that's fine. I certainly don't. And I think pixel art's one of the things that, if you've got a lot of talent, you can get a lot out of. But what's different from normal art, I think, is if you don't have that much good artistic talent, pixel art is still really good. It's kind of like a shortcut, almost. But yeah, let's actually get some coding. Let's actually get our character moving around. So this is my player character. Let's zoom on in. And I'm going to make an event. The events are just like you'd see in MakeCode Arcade or Scratch. They're the blocks that usually trigger something. So in Scratch, there's a big old block called on green flag clicked. That's an event. It triggers something when the green flag is clicked. We're going to use key pressed, which will trigger something when a key is pressed. And I'm going to use left, right, up, and down. These are the arrow keys. If you're an elite gamer, you could use W, A, S, and D if you really wanted to. But I'm just going to stick to left, right, up, and down. We'll go for the left first, because it's just the first in the list. And yeah, we get to our first kind of big hurdle. Because you've got 2 options with GameMaker. You could do it in drag and drop language, or you could do it in GameMaker language. The trouble is drag and drop language, you think, oh, it's just going to be like Scratch, it's just going to be like MakeCode. No, it's not. It is its own weird, daft, awful thing that only GameMaker uses. It's not great, I'll be honest. So I'm using GameMaker language, which is much nicer. And we could do things like speed equals 4, semicolon, which sets the speed equal to 4. So when the left key is pressed, speed equals 4. If I try that now, I know for certain that my player is just going to go in the wrong direction. So what we're going to do is we're going to set the direction of the player as well. We've got speed equals 4. Let's go direction equals. And yeah, this is where GameMaker it just throws all logic out the window. Because GameMaker has just a daft compass. But just take it from me that direction equals 180 will force the player left. Doesn't make sense. You'd thought 180 would be down or something. No, 180 is left. And yeah, I'm going to do the same thing for key press left, key pressed up, key press right, key press down. Just writing speed equals 4 and then writing in the right direction. So add event, key pressed, right. We're going to say speed equals 4, direction equals, this is right, isn't it? 0. Someone's asked, is backseating loud? I'm not sure what you mean by that. Do you mean, helping out in chat? Because if you want to help out in chat, I'm happy for that. But if not, I'm not sure what that means. Speed equals 4, direction equals 0. Key pressed. Let's do up as well. Now up is 90 degrees for some reason. You'd thought up would be 0. It isn't. So direction for up is 90. I nearly wrote 0 there, you could tell. You could tell I think it's weird. We're going to add another event. Key pressed down. Speed equals, let's go 4, like the rest. But the direction for down is going to be 270. And there we are. Someone's brought up a very interesting point. Yeah, I could set the movement and the direction by doing just the X position of the object plus a certain number. I'd argue against that with a key pressed event. Key pressed events don't trigger uniformly. They depend on basically what type of acceleration your keyboard has. So I know key down, for example, will behave like you're holding down a letter in Word. No, when I do movement like that, I typically do that in a step event. And if we've got time today, I'm going to look at a different way of moving around, which is much nicer than this way. But we might not get onto that today. We'll see how far we get. I just want to get something basic down. Let's go ahead and give this a run. So just save the game. Wait for it to compile. There we are. Got some fairly jerky, horrible movement, but it's still movement. There we are. You'll also notice that my character's gone off the screen. That's because there's no way for our character to stop. Oh, we got spinning beach ball. Oh no, it's fine. No, at the moment there's no way for my character to stop. To the person in chat, we're talking about the X one. Yeah, I think your method is a lot better because the way we're going to do now doesn't need key release. But I just want to get something basic done. I don't want to do anything too complex today. But yeah, the game I'm going to be creating, which I'm going to suggest is kind of like a twin stick shooter. So you move the character around, but you also change which direction you shoot. We probably won't get that far. But for that, I want a different kind of movement. I want it so that I can stop in one place if I really want to. So the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to stop movement when I release the key. So I'm going to go add event. And to release a key, we use the key up event. So if I go key up left, and in the key up left I say speed equals 0, what that means is when I let go of left, the character will stop. This will make some really horrible, quite hard to control movement, but it's a start. You know, the point of game design is you don't just write it all in one go. You see what works. You try it on a couple of friends. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. You go back and tweak it every now and then. But we're going to do that for key up left, key up right. Speed equals 0. We're going to do it for key up, which is a horrible name for it. Speed equals 0. And we're going to do it for key up, down, which again makes no sense. And yeah, let's see how that looks. Yeah, different kind of movement. So it moves when I hold down, stops when I let go. Of course, diagonals don't work at all. And we might get onto solving that today. But this will get us a good start. What should we? Yeah, let's get our character actually firing something. I want a twin stick shooter. Let's get it throwing something out. It's a teapot. I'm thinking globs of tea. Yeah, why not? Maybe not. Tea bags. There you are. My teapot will fire out tea bags. So of course I'm going to need a sprite for that. Wrong button. Let's see how fast I can draw a tea bag. Tea bag sprite. Add the image. It needs it to be quite small, don't I? Actually, I'm gonna quickly resize my sprite because 64 by 64, that's pretty big for a tea bag. Let's make it 32 by 32. Half the size. There we are. Grey. Circle tool. Darker grey, I think. Darker grey. And let's make that empty as well. Now, usually whenever I do my pixel art, I avoid the GameMaker editor like the plague because it's just absolutely horrible. It doesn't give you anything that you really want. Like, I don't know. So sometimes I'll do my pixel art in Photoshop, or I might do it in... If I'm on Windows, I've got my favourite program, and no one else uses it, which makes me feel very lonely, is called Paint.net. And I just think that makes all the difference, because it's just easier to control than this. And, you know, you can do things like automatically add noise, which saves me having to do all these dots for the tea bag holes, I could just, you know, do that automatically. But, oh well. It's too much to open up today. I think if I try and open Photoshop at the same time as streaming, everything will just break down and die. Yeah, it's kind of looking like a diseased tea bag, but oh well. Yeah, there's my tea bag. We'll need an object for it as well. So I'm going to go... create an object. Oh, it's nice to see some love for paint.net. Oh, I'll tell you one, actually. I'll tell you one, which is just beautiful, in my opinion. There is a website called Pizkel app. I'll pop it in chat. This one is where I do all my pixel art on when I'm not on Windows, and it's just so much easier. And whenever if you export from here, you can very easily import that into GameMaker, and I think it just makes life so much easier. But this is going to be my tea bag object, and it's going to wear the tea bag sprite. Nice. And we won't give it any events, actually. We'll do that all with the player character. Well, my code editor's getting a bit clogged up, so I'm going to close all but this and then close that one too. So we got our movement. We should probably get some, firing, weapons in here. I'm going to put that on spacebar because it makes sense. Let's do key pressed, space. And let's do here. We're going to use one of the inbuilt functions of GameMaker. And the trouble is with the functions of GameMaker, I can never remember the names of them. So what I do is I kind of write out guessing what it's going to be. And then I have a look at what pops up to see if I'm right. So I think it's called Create Moving. No? Oh, it's Instance Create Moving? It's something like that. And if I can't remember it or can't find it, then that's the time to look it up in the manual. Object create moving? No, it wouldn't be that, would it? Wouldn't be that, would it? No, time to look it up. Manual.yoyogames.com. This website's awful. I know I got on screen, but that's because I'm having a little look through it at the moment. Scripting reference, where are you? GameMaker language reference. Where's object management? Have they moved that around? They better not have. Instance. No, I've genuinely forgotten it. Curse my brain sometimes. Yeah, the reason I thought I would do one of these streams, and I've got plans to do more GameMaker stuff in the future. See, that's what I thought it was, but that's not popping up. Have they changed this in Studio 2? They have, haven't they? No, yeah, they've changed it to depth and layer. I don't want that. Back in my day, we could just create instances wherever we wanted. Didn't have to go all through these hoops. Yeah, all I'm trying to do is create an instance. And if this were GameMaker 8 back in the day, I'd have done instance create moving. Create a moving instance of an object. But no, that seems to have died nowadays. Yeah, that's from... Yeah, I should have done a little bit of practice on this, but could get around to it today. Shut that up. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, so it is instance create, but you have to specify the layer that it's created on. Oh, that's a stupid way of doing it. Thanks, Yo-Yo Games. Instance create layer. Yeah, so, and I'll just get the reference up for this one. Do you want to show? No, you don't want to show. Yeah, okay, so I believe it's instance create layer. Then we need to give it the position that we need to do it. Now, we're doing this in our player. And I want to create the bullet, so to say, at the position of the player. So I'm going to do X, which is the X position of the player. Y, which is the Y position of the player. Then apparently, and this is news to me, I don't know when they started doing this. You can specify what layer of the room the object turns up on. That's stupid. But I assume it's going to be instances. I hope. If it isn't, that'll be fun. But it's computer science. We'll test it. We'll see. And that's disappeared because of that bug. Good luck if you're ever using GameMaker on a Mac. Because as soon as you try and drag the window, sometimes the window just likes to disappear. And we're going to make an instance of teabag object. There we are. Okay. So, what this code should do, if I've got it right, I could very easily have got it wrong, is it should create a teabag at the position of the player. We'll see if we get an error when we try it. And this should happen when we press space on the keyboard. Let's see. So my player's moving around. Let's press space. And yeah, we create teabags. Teabags for everyone. Unfortunately, that's not quite the... that's not quite what we're looking for. We're not looking for teabags. We're looking for more projectiles. So we need to get our teabags moving. Now, this is where a very interesting keyword comes in with GameMaker. There's a keyword called with. And the with command will make something happen to an object even if you've just created it. So, what I'm going to do is, with this line we've just written, this instance create layer, I'm going to give it a name, and I'm going to call it my tea bag equals. Does that need to be var? Yeah, it might need to be var. Probably doesn't. I can't remember. Var is either local variable or global variable. It's one of the variables. Let's just keep it to my tea bag for now. My tea bag equals instance create layer. And what this is doing is every time we create one of these tea bag objects, it gets saved in this variable. And what that means is we can use that variable. So if I use with my tea bag, so the tea bag we just created, and then I use these curly brackets. So I do an open curly bracket, then enter, then close curly bracket. Every bit of code I put inside the with part is code that will be sent for the tea bag object to do itself. So if I do speed equals 7, this is now not changing the speed of the player, it's changing the speed of whatever's stored in the variable myTeabag. And the variable myTeabag is currently holding a new teabag that we've just created. And we could also set the direction as well. But let's just leave it with speed. And let's see if it works. If it doesn't work, we're in trouble. If it does work, that's fine. Take a sip of my coffee whilst that's going on. Ooh. That's cold. Let's press space, see if it works. Yay, it does work. We've got a projectile going. There we are. We got a tea bag firing teapot. Nice. Okay, I need to remember to close that window because whenever I press stop instead of play, it likes to throw a spinning beach ball at me. Now, this is where we get interesting. We need to think of how we're going to control it. Now, what I could do is I could have it so that the tea bag will always fire in the direction of the mouse cursor. And that would feel like a proper twin stick shooter then. It'd give me free 360 degree control of where my tea bag points. Or I could do something a bit more basic and just do up, down, left, or right. I'm going to do it a more basic way. Just for now. And we'll see where we get to. But if we get key press left, key pressed up, key press right, key press down, what I'm saying is, if I press left, then my character is going to be moving left. That means there might be enemies towards the left. So we're going to go for this kind of method where in key press left, what I do is I decide that I've just pressed left, so my tea bag should be firing left. And there are a couple of games that do that. I think The Binding of Isaac kind of has that movement style. I might be wrong, I've never played that. But we'll see whether it works or not for us. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to add an event. I'm going to add a create event. And in this create event, what I'm going to do is find the variable scope one. I don't want local. I want instance. Oh, yeah, sorry. Just remembering it. It's been a busy old day. In the create event, I want to create a variable that's going to store the direction that I should be firing my teabag in. So this is going to be my teabag. I was going to write trajectory, but I don't feel like spelling that today. Let's go for teabag. I don't want to call it direction because we've already got the built-in direction variable. Teabag angle. There we are, teabag angle. And we're just going to start by setting it to 0. Technically, that'll be sending it right automatically. But that's fine for now. I mean, we're not really going to be using it at 0. We're going to be setting it to something else first. But we need to have a default direction for where the teabag should be going. Because if we start it without a default direction, then we'll just have teabags sitting around everywhere, which is not quite what we want. And now I've got the teabag angle. I've created this variable myself. So if I go to key press left, just like I set the speed and the direction, I could also set the teabag angle and make it the same as the direction. Now, I admit there are easier ways of doing that. I could just read the direction of the player. But let's do it this way. Just because I feel like it. Teabag angle equals 90. Teabag angle equals 0. I'm glad I spelt it right because otherwise we'd be invoking the teabag angel. An angel that comes down and just gives everyone cups of tea. Teabag angle 270. Okay, so I've done that for left, I've done that for up, I've done that for right, I've done that for down. And now if I go back to space, I can set the direction of the teabag to the teabag angle. Let's give that a go. So my teabag's moving around. Oh, we got a lovely error. I do like a lovely error. What's the error? Key press event for space. Teabag angle not set before reading it. I thought I set that in create. I know why. So we're currently within the with, which means it's searching for teabag angle from the teabag object, which is not what we want. We want player character obj dot teabag angle. There we are. Oh well, what we did there was pointless. We might as well have done it the faster way, but oh well. As I said, when it comes to GameMaker, whenever I stream GameMaker, I'm just going to be messing around. Just for fun. Not going to be really doing anything serious. But there we are. We got some teabags flying around the place. And it all depends on the direction you were last facing. Which is not the nicest way of doing it, but hey, you can make a game out of it if you really wanted to. But let's make something for the enemy to. So the enemy. Let's make something for the teabag to fight. Let's go sprites. Let's create a new sprite. I'm feeling a bit lazy today. This is going to be enemy. SPR. And I'm going to import something I've made earlier. Let's see if I can find anything good. It's always a good thing to, when you get into game design, just keep a load of stuff you've made in the past just on hand in case you want to use it. What's in this? That's coloured shapes, art style 1. I've got a piano I could put in there. I've got okay, that might be a bit interesting. What have I got in traffic pack? Oh no. I can't find anything else. I think it's going to have to be this. Ages ago, I made a map of Wales for one of my for one of my live streams. It's meant to be the weather in Wales. So you got your Newport, your Cardiff, your Swansea, and the rest. This might, yeah, that's it. The enemy of my tea is going to be the country of Wales. Fair enough. I'd change it to something else if I had some other sprites, but I don't have anything ready to go. So our enemy is Wales. We're going to be flooding Wales with tea. Okay, so that's the enemy sprite. Let's make an enemy object. This is going to be enemy. Oh. Enemy 3. Chat saying, yeah, the drag and drop system, I suppose, is a little bit better, but still it does make me throw up every time I try and use it. But if it works for you, that's great. You know, I say use GameMaker language all the time, but then again, you can get some really good stuff out of drag and drop language. It's all about what works for you. And that's the beauty of, you know, that's, now we're seeing more and more of these program languages which aren't just typing text out on a screen. We're starting to make computer science for everyone, not just for the programmers, which I think is great. What are we going to do with the enemy? Let's get the enemy... could just stick it around. Well, actually, let's get the enemy to die first. Let's actually get it so the enemy will, you know, disappear when you hit it. So we're going to add a collision event to the enemy. Collision, objects, teabag. Okay. And in that, we're going to put in... I'm just checking the... Just checking the old reference. I'm sure it's destroy. Anyway, we'll do destroy. Well, they change it to this time. No, it's none of those. Instance destroy. It's not instance destroy. Come on, brain, what is it? It's been a long time since I made one of these. Let's go... I do keep notes on all this stuff. Sounds really boring, but hey, that's what I do. That's life, innit? Game development, notes. No, that's the coin collision. Oh, it's not paving for me today. And by it, I mean my brain. Oh, now I've opened Word. Oh, don't do this, Word. You take ages and you just clog everything up. There we are. Word's disappeared. It was somewhere. It's gone now. Had it all planned out. We'll muddle through. I swear it was something, and I can't remember what it was. was one of these. Apologies for this, all this dead air. That's my brain going. Ah, when in doubt, I'll load up one of your old saves. I'll have it there. One of my old saves. Let's go for traffic control. Is that the one where I did that in? Was that one of my demonstration games? It was. No, that one hasn't got the shop in yet. Traffic control 2. Was it that one? Spinning beach ball. Oh, it's been right pain today. No, that was just stopping. It wasn't doing anything interesting. That wasn't doing anything interesting. Were the cars doing anything interesting? No, they weren't. There'll be traffic control 3 then. No. Let's restart in the room. Hang on, did I have coin collisions? Probably. No, I did not. Okay, well, we'll just go with... See, this is why you should plan things out. We'll just go with smooth movement then instead. So, there is a way of making things move a lot smoother. And it's this here. And I'm going to copy and paste it across, then I'm going to explain it. Let's go open project. And we'll go back to what I was working on. And we'll get round to the enemies later. But yeah, so currently our character moves around a bit like... Wait for it, wait for it, wait for it. A bit like this. You got your up, down, left, right. You can't do diagonals. And you'll find that if you try and press a different direction whilst holding another, you start getting some really glitchy movement. Like when you're pressing up, you start going down. Put it this way, it's not great. So, there's a way around that. And it's a way of doing smooth movement. And it just makes life so much easier. And we can do that in the step event. So we've used key press event, key up event, and create event. We're going to use the step event now. The step event, so if we go step, step, this happens every frame of the game. So if your game runs at 60 frames per second, it means that the step event runs 60 times a second. If your game runs at 20 frames per second, it means the step event happens every 20 times every second. And I'm going to put some code in here, just as a little reference to myself. And just shove it on some lines, ignore it exists. But what we can do, instead of doing key press left, key pressed up, key press right, key press down, what we can do is we can get the game to check every so many frames whether or not a keyboard key has been pressed. So if I do if keyboard check, which is a function that checks whether or not a keyboard key is being held down. And here we could put in the name of any keyboard key. So if you're doing WASD, it'd be VKA? Yeah, no, that's just for the name of the other ones. What are the VKs? Oh, they're the boring ones. Is it just A? No, it's ORD A. I believe. Something or other. We're just going to stick to VK left, which is the left arrow key. What we're doing is we're saying if my keyboard left key is being pressed, do something. Now, if you want to make some smooth movement, then the way I worked out to do this is you tell the character how much to move, but only after you've worked out all the keys that are being pressed. So if you're moving the left arrow and the up arrow at the same time, you kind of want the character to go diagonally. Now, the way we were doing it originally is when you press the left key, then you add the movement. When you press the right key, then you add the movement, which meant that we couldn't do the in-betweeny bits. So I'm going to create a variable here, and as you can see in my sample code, I called it x2add. And what that means is, how much should I be moving in one direction if the left key is pressed? So I'm going to call that a variable, and as I said below, I've called it x2add. Let's call it x movement this time. Yeah, x movement. And we can make it any number. Now I can make it -5, that's going to be quite quick. Let's go for -2. And the reason why is left, you're going back on the number line. You're going backwards. So I've put it as -2. And what we can then check is if it's not left, then it might be right. So else, if keyboard check VK right, and again, we could do X movement. This time I'll do it 2 because we're going in the other direction. And of course, that's not just it. We can add the other ones. We could add the Y movement, which is the up and down. So if keyboard check VK up, Y movement equals, and then we put in, no, that's -2, I think, for up. We'll see if it's not. If it goes the wrong direction, it goes the wrong direction. And let's do an else if for keyboard check VK down. And here we'll have the Y movement equal to 2. Yeah, and underneath, now we've established which directions we should be going, we should probably add these all up. And we do that by setting the X position of the player becomes equal to the X position of the player plus however much we've said the player should be moving in the X direction. And the Y movement of the player equals the Y movement of the player, but this time add however much movement we should be doing in the Y direction. Now, I hope this should work. I thought it would. I obviously wrote that ages ago. So let's see if it does. Let's see if past me is treating us well today. Oh, got a funky error. And I think I know why. It's because X movement and Y movement don't already exist. So you should probably go ahead and create them. So I'm going to go to create the create event. I created teabag angle, but I forgot to create X movement equals 0. Y movement equals 0. Okay, let's see if that works. Okay, it is working. But the problem is, I've still got the original code as well. So it's got some janky movement. It's trying to do its own weird thing. I don't know why I pressed stop again after I closed the window. That's just caused more time to waste. So yeah, let's go ahead and delete the left. The key pressed left, the key pressed up, the key pressed right. Nope. Actually, I shouldn't do that. Because I still need the teabag angle, don't I? Oh no, I know what I can do. Delete these. Delete that event. 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 And we don't need teabag angle anymore because we're going to change our teabag code. So we're not going to set the direction to the player character object.teabag angle. We're going to set it to player character object.direction. So yeah, that should do it. Give it a go. Oh, hello. Where did my game go? There you are. Why did you hide from me? There you are. There we are. We got our diagonals moving. We could probably fix that up a little bit. Oh, that's set to go right. Oh well. It's been a bit of a disaster, but what session with GameMaker isn't? Anyway, I hope you enjoyed. This is just me messing around, trying to get back into it. It's been a couple of years since I've built a game. And I'd quite like to get building another. But sometimes it's just nice to chill out, do some code, fiddle around with things, see if it works. If it doesn't, you know what to fix the next time. In case, I hope you enjoyed. I see we've had a couple of newcomers this week. If you want to get involved with Technolive, we stream every single Thursday, unless something goes wrong or I have a break, at 4:30. And we go for an hour or so. And we usually do cool things, a little bit of Make It Arcade, a little bit of GameMaker, a little bit of Python, a little bit of JavaScript, a little bit of just playing games in general, a little bit of Minecraft, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. So if that kind of thing sounds interesting to you, you can really help us out by popping in a subscribe and a like and all that. I hate having to say that, but that's how the YouTube algorithm takes things nowadays. So, in any case, hope you enjoyed, hope you have a lovely week, and cheerio, everyone. Farewell.